Hello everyone, it's Jack, Andrew and Ross back once again with 9 lovely pitches. I can't believe there's another pay-per-view so soon after the last.
Creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it
Just
does.
like you do in the corridors at night.
That's a bit... Oh, I don't know about that one. I'd rather not, but thank you.
It's time, of course, for Revolution, which I'm already deeming to be, regardless of match quality or anything, it's the odd one out. It's the Survivor Series of AEW's Big Four. It's the least heralded.
Double or Nothing's the WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
They've said that themselves,
Oh, right,
haven't they?
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they have. Yeah.
I always see All Out as a big one as well.
Oh.
I thought that as well.
It's Double or Nothing and All Out. Full
And the
gear,
other two.
Yeah.
and then
And then the
Revolution.
yeah.
Even though Revolution has produced some bangers in the past, and hopefully it will again this weekend. We've got 9 lovely pitches. We're going to go around in a circle. Ross, then Andrew, then myself. Usually I ask how you're doing, and I haven't done that yet.
It's all right.
How are you doing?
Not new. No,
All
not
right,
new.
Andrew?
Nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new.
Nothing new.
No, nothing
Nothing
new.
new. Nothing new at all. Yeah, nothing new. I wait. I'm back from last week. I got ill last week.
Oh, God, how are you feeling?
I'm
Yeah.
feeling all right.
Oh, it's
now.
all right.
That's a
It's
question.
fine.
How do you keep getting COVID?
That is the question that I think is on the tip of everyone's tongue.
How many times now?
3 times.
Is that always more?
How do I manage to get it? Like, I don't go out anywhere. I'm a little hermit, a little nerd that just sits in his corner and is in the flat, just like, just doing that all the time.
You want to find a different corner than the COVID corner.
The COVID corner. But I'm all right, thanks. Jack, how are you doing?
I am not too bad. I
Yeah?
just can't wait to talk about some of our really intelligent pitches.
You see these new T-shirts?
He's got a wonderful new T-shirt. Show
I
everybody.
moved-
You wanted
I
to
had-
show
I
everybody.
had this on the desk and I moved it because I was like, I want to get my T-shirt in shot. Yeah, there you go, everyone. It's Cobra Kai. Right. 9 pitches. We'll go around in a circle. Ross, then Andrew, then myself. 3 times. We'll end up with 9 lovely pitches for AEW Revolution 2023. But remember the most golden of all the rules. It's not what we think's going to happen.
It's what we want to happen.
Ross, your first pitch, please.
Jamie Hayter wins the women's triple threat to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Britt Baker and Rebel are in the ring celebrating. Everything is going so well. They maybe even get the champagne out. It's that momentous of an occasion. But one thing I do know for sure, with the champagne being in a bit of doubt in this pitch, is that Tony Schiavone heads to the ring to join in with the festivities. As the party in the ring is just threatening to get well and truly started, we hear Tony cut the poo. YouTube's ruined many of these promos in this pitch.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill appears on the ramp all alone. She heads down to the ring saying, I'm bloody bored of being this TBS champion. I've beat everyone, yet I still can't get close to these heifers in the ring. Brandy Rhodes taught me that word.
Oh, yeah, she
She
did.
said it,
yeah,
she said it
she
to Jade.
did,
Yeah, she said it to Jade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Who told you it was open mic night?
Yeah. Heifers. I've got an idea, Jade says, as she turns her attentions directly to Jamie Hayter. You see that belt there, you doilum? Jade adds, pointing at Jamie's AEW women's title. I want it. So here's what we'll do. I'll put mine in the middle, my TBS title. You put yours in the middle. Between now and the next pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, I imagine it is, because Wikipedia doesn't have anything listed at the moment, so I can't be too sure. Me and you are going to wrestle 1 singles match per week. The lady who has the most wins from now up until the week of Double or Nothing heads into our singles match on the pay-per-view, 1 up. Right, that's a tantalising tease on purpose. Jamie's then being all posh and southern by saying, 1 up? What a preposterous statement. What a load of balderdash. You can say tally ho to that idea, old bean. Ha ha, total pip. She tries to leave, but then Jade's like, Jamie, cut the poo. Once again, thank you, YouTube, for ruining the emphasis on these promos. Jade adds, I'll say 1 up because the lady who has the most wins heading into Double or Nothing will be 1 fall up
What?
in... Loud crowd gasp. Our 60-minute Iron Woman unification match. The lady with the most the most wins over the next 2 months will enter the match 1-0 in the lead. So strap up your boots, bonny lady. Jamie starts licking her lips. This really is bloody tantalising. In fact, I'd wager this idea is absolutely ravishing. You're on there, Jade. Jade goes into the match 1 up because you don't want to throw away her first loss in the company in the build up to a pay-per-view. Jamie can get screwed over by Layla Gray or something like that in the build to the thing. I can see how people are now saying it would be a negative to get rid of the secondary women's title in AEW, but how poor the division or the title picture is now with Jade in it. Imagine a world where Jade isn't in it. And I don't want to imagine that world. So I'd rather just unify the two titles and have a proper, all guns a-blazing women's world title division just with one belt, because I think it'll just be better for the women's division as a whole, because currently they've got two titles and they're not using them very well, both the belts at the same time. So let's have a unification match with either Hayter or Jade eventually getting a big, massive win at Double or Nothing.
Oh, it's an interesting one. I'm glad I didn't know. I was nearly going to also pitch Jade versus Jamie, but it wasn't quite the same path. I didn't think of the whole series and the Iron Woman, and it's a no from me. It's been about 3 months since there's been a no on this video series. No. The reason is, I've got a reason. I don't think that Jade Cargill, I don't think her wheelhouse is long matches. I don't want to criticize a woman who could kill me if she wanted to, but I don't know if that's her bag. I don't know if that's her game. Her bag.
It might be her bag.
It might be.
We just don't know what her bag is.
That's true.
Gucci.
Andrew.
I'm I'm teetering on the fence.
I did this first because I thought this was my best.
I mean, it is very good. I like the creativeness of it.
I should point out Ross has been off all week, so he's not had long to.
I got back into Newcastle upon Tyne after a Wembley weekend yesterday evening.
Yeah.
So I'm not with it at all.
Just spent all weekend thinking of these pictures.
Yes, I definitely did.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about it.
Watching Newcastle walk out of Wembley, like, how do I get Jade Cargill versus Jade?
Because I like the idea. I think it's a really good idea. I think you've made some good points there in terms of.
Just give it me, Andrew. Just go on, give it me. Stop.
Well, no, this is the thing.
Stop buttering me up.
I'm not. I'm telling you. I think there's some good points in there, because I think, like, on one hand, Jade's great, but as Jack says, also not sure long matches are a wheelhouse, and also just the TBS Championship in general just feels like there's no credible challenges. I don't think.
I think that's actually to Ross's point. I think he addressed that in the.
He did.
That's why I'm getting rid of it.
No, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's a good idea, and why maybe it should happen. But I mean, the only challenger I can think of is when Chris Statlander comes back. That's the only thing, and then maybe things can start getting a little bit better when that happens. But it just feels inconsequential at the moment. But if we could somehow get like I guess the streak would be involved in that, right? That'd be a big thing that's on the line as well for Jade Cargill. Ooh,
Maybe
actually,
I could have gone title versus streak.
Yeah.
It's a yes from me.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. It's a yes. No. I'm gonna lean towards yes,
so
because
nice.
It could
Just
give.
say no,
Such a
Andrew.
I'm
nice
gonna lean
boy.
towards yes
I'm a big
because
boy,
it
I can
could.
take it.
Because it could benefit. It could benefit the women's roster and the title as well. Like, there's no point in having something there if it's not really getting used
Exactly. That's
so much.
I think the role we've been on with yeses recently really gives an added gravitas whenever there's a no. I like that. I like how
It does, yeah.
You're cracking under the pressure
I am.
already.
It's like our own streak that we've
we are
just
Jade
broken
Cargill,
our own streak.
Yes.
Jade Cargill.
So it's a no and a yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it what's the word? A tentative yes?
It's going to be a rough video from here on out for me.
No, because
Don't you worry,
have you done
Ross.
any silly ones?
Nah,
I'm
not this
here
time.
with you. I'm here
This
with
is
you.
AEW pitches. Need to be serious all the time.
Yeah, true.
Andrew.
I'm going over first to the Texas Death Match between Moxley and Hangman Page. Now, a lot of my pictures, right, everybody, just putting it out there now. A lot of them start with builds on Dynamite first. A lot of them, all of them
I'm
start
looking at
with
your
builds on
script here,
Dynamite.
and it's
almost big.
It's over a page long.
It's because I feel
it's
like
a long
it's because I
one.
feel like I've over-explained myself quite a bit here
No,
to get
go on.
points across.
No, go on.
But here we go, right. But yes, before we get to the Texas Death Match, we look towards the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale on this Wednesday's Dynamite. Both Reynolds and Silver from the Dark Audio and Claudio and Yuta from the Blackpool Combat Club are in the match. And if we remember last week, those two teams got into it following the Moxley Evil Uno main event of Dynamite, right? So backstage before the Battle Royale, Reynolds and Silver are interviewed about what happened last week. But before they can get much of a word in, Yuta and Claudio enter to belittle the members of the Dark Order. They call the whole team a mockery of professional wrestling, and what Moxley did to Uno should be seen as mercy and a message for the team to step away from the sport on their own accord. Otherwise, the BCC will make the decision for them and make it a permanent decision.
Whoa.
Bloody hell,
bit severe.
fire, right? Right, they're being naughty recently though, a bit, aren't they? So, cut to the Battle Royale.
Wheeler was being a heel,
It was. Cut to the Battle Royale, and these two teams absolutely waste no time in colliding as Reynolds and Silver look to exact revenge on the BCC for the beatdown Moxley laid in on Uno. And then the heated exchange leads to both of the teams eliminating themselves, and then they scrap through the crowd and out through the arena. And later in the evening, Hangman is seen frantically scouring the corridors of the Cow Palace in San Francisco, looking for his buddies, and he finally does. However, they're surrounded by backstage personnel. When Hangman finally manages, he sifts through the crowd, he sifts through the swarm of people, and he finds Reynolds and Silver laying on the ground. They're out cold, they're bloodied. And they're laid out in like the Hangman tarot card position. Do you remember this from way back in the day?
And everyone was saying it's Hangman who's done it.
As I said here, that one time, one time Moxley was attacked backstage 2 weeks before his match with Omega.
What was the position again?
It's like the one leg is like crossed underneath the other, and the other is like straight out. So it's like that. And that could signify what's about to happen to Adam Page in his future come Revolution. So we get to the Texas Death Match on Sunday. It's as brutal as I think we're all expecting it to be, with Hangman going the extra mile to exact revenge on the BCC member for what happened to his pals. The match draws to its conclusion with Moxley seemingly having the upper hand as he locks in a barbed wire-assisted bulldog choke on Hangman. But as John...
What did you just do that?
Bulldog choke. That's the bulldog choke, Ross. I didn't get that hand in. There we go. Is that all right? I'm just flexing. That's what I'm doing. I'm flexing, Ross.
What did you think he was doing?
He literally just sat there and went,
No.
I didn't do that. Come on now.
I saw what you were doing. Your
Jack.
opponent was struggling
Jack.
against it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being on my side there. Just because I gave him a tentative yes earlier. So Moxley gets the assisted bulldog choke.
Sorry.
Quite
embarrassed.
Not
No.
a little sexy pack. Not a little sexy pack.
Not like...
But yeah, John feels Hangman's weight shift and as he tries to escape from the hold, but John transitions into a Death Rider instead, only for Page to hoy Moxley up and reverse it into a desperation Deadeye onto some tacks or something for good measure. I put maybe to signify it's done. To get the victory, and even the scores between the two men, 2-2. Now, after the match, an emotional Hangman hoists Moxley up to his knees to deliver a message. He tells John that it's done, it's over, we're even now, you leave me and the Dark Order alone, we go our separate ways before it gets worse for either one of us. And Hangman wants affirmation from Mox, so he holds out his hand in hopes that John will accept his offering to end this all. But looking like Gromit when he gets jam-tossed all over him in the wrong trousers, Moxley just flips Page off before, out of nowhere, Claudio and Yuta enter the ring to attack him from behind, which also brings Hangman down to his knees and onto Moxley's level. So John tells Page, it's not over till I say it's over. This is what he wanted after all, right? He wanted another match in the first place. You didn't take me seriously after I tried to warn you. If you want this to be finished, I'll do what I should have done before when I left you concussed on the mat. I'll make sure it's finished. Full stop, you dafty. Yuta and Claudio bring Hangman to his feet, drape him over the ropes and onto the apron before Moxley wraps his arm in barbed wire once again. He's going to do the hang. He's going to hang Hangman. He's going to hang Hangman. He's going to do like the choke, like what Brody King did to Darby Allin, and have Yuta and Claudio sweep Page's legs out from underneath him. But before the BCC can go through with their devious plan, you know it's all about Adam Cole, baby, appears on the ramp. He's got a chair in hand, but there's still a 3-on-2 advantage here for the BCC. And as a Combat Club, they laugh. Claudio and Wheeler start walking towards an outnumbered Adam Cole, only for another superstar to make their long-awaited return to even the odds.
Oh my God.
Mr. Kyleth O'Reilly.
That's even better than what I was.
At the side of his friend.
I thought you were gonna. I thought it was CM Punk.
Now,
no, I'm joking.
Now, I was thinking, like, do I want, because Hangman's been talking about mending fences with people, and a lot of people have sort of taken this as mending fences with the Bucks and Kenny Omega and everything. And I thought maybe to twist it on its head with like what's happened with Adam Cole's injury and then Page's injury recently. Maybe they've come to like, you know, mutual respect for each other, what they've been through and everything like that. And also Hangman and Cole have been Bullet Club teammates as well, and they've tag teamed a few times before and stuff, and maybe they've mended fences, they've come back together, being like, you can't do that to people, Blackpool Combat Club. People want to wrestle. They don't want to get hurt again.
I get it.
Something like that. And then we've turned Blackpool Combat Club full on heels. You've still got Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly now in as baby faces. They've come back. I know Cole said he's not wrestling until that Access show comes up, but at the same time, he doesn't have to wrestle, does he? He can just be there as an appearance, just to like come to the aid of Hangman.
This is a brilliant pitch because what you've done here is set up gang warfare between the BCC and the UE lads. You've set up the return to AEW for Bobby Fish.
No,
and
I never said that.
That is the greatest pitch in the history. Where's the lad? It's the greatest pitch in the history of this series. Bobby Fish making his comeback to AEW.
I never said Bobby Fish. I never said Bobby Fish.
It's fishing season. And then he comes in and
There's carp everywhere at AEW and the fisherman is there.
John Moxley says something seems fishy about this, and then he comes out.
But that is the thing I would ask of you. The BCC have more men. Kyle and Adam need friends.
Sorry, this is another thing I completely forgot. I think it was on a BTE, being the Elite. The Dark Order were trying to recruit Adam Cole. In the things, and he was being like, I'll do
Budge.
it. Yeah, I'll do it as long as I'm not called Budge.
Yeah.
So he's also coming to the aid of his friends in the Dark Order too. So that could work out that way.
You've explained that well.
There we go. That's why I've over-explained
They all
everything.
play games together
They
backstage.
do, yeah. Not knives and drugs and all.
None of that. Right. It's a yes from me as well.
Thank you.
I think
It was a resounding yes.
Was it? I thought the Bobby Fish thing was why you were saying yes, even though there was no mention of him. But thank you.
Mine's a yes. I like how you've turned the Blackpool Combat Club heel because I think now that Adam Cole's a face, there's a bit of maybe a gap for a top, like a main event level heel on that side of the roster. Apart from Jericho and MJF, I can't think of. There probably is, but I like the idea of Moxley, especially as a heel. I think he'd be scary.
Yeah.
I like the idea of scary heel Moxley. And I like that you've managed to avoid, because I'm not looking forward to it, Hangman being mates with the Bucks again.
Yeah.
They've been horrible friends to him.
They have been horrible
and
friends.
they don't deserve him.
And that's why, as well, as we were saying, if the Dark Order are looking to recruit Adam Cole, at least he's still within the Dark Order. It doesn't make him a fickle friend, as some might think he might be if he goes back with the Elite and Kenny. Yeah.
Nice stuff. I've got my road agent hat on for this one. This is I've done the Iron Man match between MJF and Bryan Danielson.
Oh, nice.
And I've basically, this pitch is, you know how sometimes we do long-term ones. This one's just the match, just the match itself. This is how I want it to go. It's an hour long. So
But the pitch?
So the pitch is just the match. No. It's the start of the Iron Man match, and MJF tries to do a Brock Lesnar. Do you know what I mean by that? The Angle Iron Man match.
Yes.
On SmackDown, So he immediately grabs the title belt and goes to hit Bryan, who avoids it and nails MJF with a pair of brass knuckles he's had hidden in his tights, like William Regal. 1-0 MJF. But the momentum's with Bryan knows what he's doing. MJF shakily gets to his feet. Bryan drills him again. The ref is furious. It's 2-0 MJF. The ref takes the brass knuckles off Bryan, who's doing his slight arsehole smile. You know when he's like, I'm not doing it. yeah, like that, yeah. His lips go a bit weird, yeah. MJF wobbles back to his feet. Now he's bleeding. Bryan charges with a running knee. 1, 2, 3. 2-1 MJF. And Bryan goes to the ref. Is that one okay? Does that one count for me, mate? Is that one? So Bryan's like got an edge about him in this match. It's not. He's got to match MJF on his level of being an arse. Another running knee, but this time MJF avoids it and falls through the ropes to the outside. Bryan goes after him and lays the smacketh down, and the match is underway. But it's 2-1 MJF. The first portion of the match is MJF just trying to survive while Danielson reminds everyone why he was so feared in Ring of Honor. He's lighting MJF up with kicks, stretching him with submissions, pulling him into the ring post, and being really, really nasty. The fans are obviously loving this. The MJF's getting all the comeuppance and everything. MJF, though, out of nowhere, snags Bryan's injured arm, which they've really been building up for weeks now, I think, with the armbar, and Danielson immediately submits because of tactics. He doesn't want to be weakened throughout the match, so he just goes, I'll tap out now. 2-2, both of them square off, like, I see, we're both very clever wrestlers indeed. That's what's being told there. But MJF then goes, what about this, though? And clocks Bryan with a huge right hand, and we see that he's slipped on the Dynamite Diamond ring. It's 3-2 Bryan, but then MJF pins him. He's done what Bryan did to him at the start of the match. It's 3-3. The latter half of the match is now reversed. It's Bryan clinging on while MJF tries everything to go one fall ahead. But Danielson is just too good at wrestling. As we approach the end of the hour, despite being the older man, Bryan is clearly doing better, like Floyd Mayweather towards the end of his match with Conor McGregor. I don't know why I did that and put that in, but I just remember being surprised that like this 40-year-old man was fresh as a daisy and Conor McGregor.
I can't remember anything from that.
No.
Fight.
Were you drunk?
I think we were. Yeah, we were. Wait,
Wait, it was in the sports bar.
Filthy Muck Nasties, wasn't it?
I wasn't actually there.
Oh.
I just remember hearing that everyone had a few. Anyway, what was I up to? Oh, yeah, a bit of a... anyway, Brian's doing the yes kicks. He measures MJF for a big last one and shushes the crowd so they can hear the impact. But because they've gone quiet, we hear MJF say something really horrible to Brian. I've said, you can make up your own minds with this one. I've gone for Nikki was always better than Brie in ring, or your children will probably only be okay wrestlers. Something that really will offend Brian.
That'll get him.
He then spits at Brian, who's absolutely furious, and low blows MJF 4-3 to MJF, but then Brian blasts him with a knee to make it 4-4, and then transitions straight away into the label lock. He really cranks back, shouting at MJF, really wanting him to suffer because he's furious now, Brian. The only problem is there's only a few seconds left in the match and the scores are tied. As Brian pulls back further and further, MJF uses his momentum against him, rolls back into a pinning predicament, and Brian is so blinded by rage and so intent on punishing him, he doesn't release the hold. Ref counts 3, time runs out, and it's 5-4 MJF, and he's bloody won.
Damn.
Sneaked out
Sneaky
there, has he?
boy.
So close. It's a yes from me.
Thank you.
The drama at the end there. I can feel the rage already.
My issue was, would this cause people to be really cross, this ending, after an hour? Would people be like, oh...
That's the point,
That's the point, isn't it, with MJF?
I guess so, yeah.
And I
right.
think, that's why it gets a yes from me as well. I like the drama in it. I do think MJF is going to use some sort of tactics regarding Brian's family somehow.
He has mentioned them in the bill.
Yeah. And I think something might happen there.
Just gets Birdie and throws
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm thinking. He picks a kid out of the crowd or something.
He picks a kid out of the crowd.
Well, one of Danielson's kids, not just a kid, but he picks one of Danielson's.
Well, you shouldn't pick
children
Birdie. You
out
should
of
just fly away.
Oh, that's pretty good.
No, I'm really pretty embarrassed about that.
Yeah, no, it's a yes from me because I think this match, a lot of people seem to be really, at least online from what I've read, a lot of people it seem to either be really looking forward to this match or not looking forward to it at all, saying that MJF probably can't go 60 minutes or
Of course
something
he can.
And
No,
I
he
think
can't, he
as
can't.
well.
He can do
Absolutely.
the 6K special. Everything
Yeah.
just chooses not to.
Yeah, no, that's
he's a
it.
collegiate athlete.
I think, absolutely. And I think adding the drama into something like this as well as the wrestling that you've done there too, is a nice balance between the two things.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ross.
Oh, right. You've two done long ones. Here comes my long one. The Face of the Revolution ladder match is happening tonight as we're sat here on Dynamite TV. Samoa Joe, for some reason, is on commentary for the match. Samoa Joe is the current TNT champion. Takeshita wins the Face of the Revolution ladder match. He faces Joe at a future date that isn't the pay-per-view because with 7 matches on the card and one of those matches being at least an hour long, that's long enough for a pay-per-view. We all watch on and marvel and see what those two artists paint with their wrestling painting brushes. After Takeshita gets a massive career-making win over Joe, he's then approached by Adam Cole. Adam Cole's comeback match is happening sometime during March to coincide with the debut of AEW All Access. I googled it before we came here. No date has been set.
Yeah.
It
No.
just says March.
March, yeah.
Takeshita suggests that he and Cole should have Cole's comeback match for the title. Cole accepts. We watch on and marvel to see what these two artists paint with their wrestling painted brushes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good pitch.
Whoa.
I mean, it's not the most specific pitch, but I don't mind. Because, yeah, it's fair enough.
I've laid out the
Yeah,
future,
you've laid
the
some
future
out.
of the TNT title there.
You certainly have
The
done.
lineage has been furthered.
They don't all have to be epics, do they?
No.
No, they don't.
It's a yes from me.
It's a yes from me.
Thank God for that. We're
as
back
well.
on
I
track.
can't wait to picture what these artists will paint with their
Brushes.
brushes.
I mean, it's
with
going to be
their-
perfect, whatever it is.
Is it broad
Wait,
strokes
what
or
are
is
the
it fine
there's
details?
2 matches you've set up there?
Joe, well,
Yeah.
Takeshita wins the Face of the Revolution
Yeah.
ladder match. He goes and faces Joe because Joe's on commentary for the match, and I
Yeah.
assume he'll go and square up with the winner of the match. Cole then comes back, and then Takeshita challenges Cole for Cole's comeback match.
Yeah.
So you're saying then that Samoa Joe wins the match at Revolution as well against Wardlow?
Is there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. Might have
saying
forgot-
that too.
Might have forgot that one's happening, but
Right, it's fine.
yeah, he does, yeah.
It's fine.
I'm
He wins
quite worried because one of my pitches is about that match. Have you done one for Wardlow?
I've
Joe?
done one for Takeshita as well. That's my next one. That's like an overview of what I want to see.
I might have
happen.
forgotten about the Revolution match, but
I
yes,
don't
Joe
No,
wins that
that
one.
is what
Yeah.
we
That
want
makes
to
no
happen.
sense.
It's what
No,
we want
no,
to
it
happen.
might do in my pitch.
Yeah,
it might make
who
sense,
knows?
actually.
But
Yeah.
he snipped his head because of the dart.
Ah,
He
it's all-
did.
Don't worry, it's all explained. It's fine.
He's got extensions now. It's so good. Yeah, I like it as well because that's some of my favorite wrestlers right there. 3 of my favorite wrestlers in that.
Isn't that
It
nice?
just needs Pete
Yeah.
Dunne, and then that'll be like your
And then
dream
it would
lineup.
be.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
be. It would be my four horsemen of now. I'll keep going. So yeah, mine's about Takeshita as well, and it's more to do with like the deepening relationship between Takeshita and Don Callis. So again, yeah, it's just to plant the seeds for something down the line. Maybe not specifically anything for Revolution, but what happens at Revolution can then affect what happens later on. So back to Wednesday night and the Face of the Revolution ladder match. We cut to a shot backstage of Konosuke Takeshita getting ready for the match when he's about to be approached by an interviewer. But before they manage to get a moment with Takeshita, we hear a voice off screen say, stop, you're stressing him out before his big match. Get away with you, off you go. That voice belongs to Don Callis, who wishes themselves into shot to speak with Konosuke. Specifically, Don has come to ask whether Takeshita has thought about his proposition at all. And that's when Don gave Takeshita his business card during Dark Elevation in January. Konosuke says he's still thinking about it, and Don doesn't push too hard. Instead, he's like, all right, but listen, look, if you let me help you, you wouldn't have to think as much, and you can focus more on your matches. By the way, what I said before about you perhaps taking a little too much on, maybe wait on the sidelines a little bit tonight. Pick your opportunities. Let the others do the work for you. And you might be surprised by the outcome. By the outcome. What was that? Like from Preston or something?
Yeah.
Match time comes and we see Takeshita absolutely shining, but he's sort of taking in what Callis said previously to him as well. He's more methodical with where he enters the match, picking and choosing his moments to get involved. And we maybe get a spot where like all the high flyers have taken out the participants in the match before they themselves start brawling. You got Commander, Action Andretti, and AR Fox. They have some insane back and forth, and they wipe themselves out of the match, out of the ring, and it leaves Sammy Guevara all on his lonesome inside the squared circle. Sammy climbs the ladder. However, with it being a ladder match, there's another ladder. You know when they've got it like propped up against the ladder that's already like properly set up? There's a ladder that's propped up, and that allows Takeshita to seize the moment, and he darts up it and does that running knee bosh.
Do that?
Yeah, he's hard as nails, isn't he? He's an athletic man.
Yeah.
He runs up, does the knee to Guevara's face, and secures the brass ring. And then Callis just appears on the ramp. He's clapping and smiling as both men acknowledge each other with a knowing nod. And the Revolution comes round, and before the Trios tag title match, we get a segment between Konosuke, Don, and the Elite. And the Elite congratulate Konosuke on his victory on Wednesday, but they're like, why? What are you here for? Because you're not even working the show. And Don's like, well, I personally invited Takeshita here to talk business, hoping that all five of them can go for a nice dinner to celebrate their victories after the Elite retain the Trios titles tonight. There's a brief interaction between just Omega and Takeshita as well, where Omega cockily expresses how impressed he is with Konosuke's progression over the years, but he's still got a long way to go. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll teach you how to run a wheel wrestling. A wheel wrestling championship. Maybe one day he'll teach him how to win a real wrestling championship somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Elite at Revolution, however, they're unsuccessful in retaining their titles, and they lose them to the House of Black. And sort of from here, we can see Kenny desperately trying to get the titles back, or a title back, looking to Callis for advice. But Callis is now like shunning Kenny a little bit and sort of looking towards Konosuke as being the future of this group. And he's getting pushed out a little bit. You can still have Takeshita being sort of the baby face, but Callis trying to like
corrupt him.
Not corrupt him, but I think trying to exploit him, knowing that he is possibly the future of wrestling. And he's trying to do this, and then we can finally get like the match between Konosuke and Kenny, because they've had little bits together. I think they've teamed together at some points. They've had matches together, and I think Kenny's even said before, like, people have been saying for years that Konosuke is the future of wrestling, and it's been like 10 years or so since like one of the matches they've had, and people are still saying is the future, and he's not really progressing this, that, and the other. And then we can get that eventually. And yeah.
It's a yes from me, because Takeshita always used to, well, not always, but quite often would feature on my Wrestlers of the Week. And he'd be like winning multiple titles in DDT and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was surprised when he came to AEW. After about 4 months, they were like, Takeshita trying to get his first win here on Dynamite. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird how he's gone from being like a actual main eventer in a promotion to building himself back up again, but it is working. I like this. I'm getting Anakin Skywalker, Emperor Palpatine vibes.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, it's sad.
Why is it sad?
Just that Anakin got corrupted by
Oh,
politics.
yeah, that's pretty sad.
So it's a yes from me.
Thank you.
I'm getting Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio vibes. Don versus Kenny, custody of a Kanosuke match.
How's Don going to win that?
Yeah.
By wrestling. He was a wrestler.
Yeah, I guess he was.
got nice
He
shoes.
was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Aye, right, he was.
Cyrus.
In the Canadian independent scene before the ECW days.
Oh, okay.
Aye, it's a yes for me as well.
Thank you.
That was a stupid joke from me at the end there. I do like the way that the corruption might happen. It doesn't happen. They go and feud off with Kenny. Yeah,
Nice.
it all makes sense.
It makes sense.
My second pitch.
Sorry, what? Sorry, what? Jack?
I have never been called that in my life.
My second pitch. Can I stay in? Yeah, I'll be fine. My second pitch is about the match that Ross didn't remember was actually taking place at Revolution. It's Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. I've said here, it seems like Wardlow might be the favourite to win the match with Samoa Joe because Ring of Honor is about to get this weekly show. The TNT title, it just makes sense to split the belts, and the TNT title will go back to AEW. Ring of Honor TV title on Ring of Honor. It all seems to make sense. I say no. I think Joe should win this match after Wardlow is attacked by a man in a balaclava.
Oh!
Joe is still the double champion and takes the belt off to Ring of Honor. This achieves two things. One, Joe now has one of the AEW belts on Ring of Honor, and that makes Ring of Honor look strong in a way. They should really ham this up and call out Tony Khan, and Tony sends a different guy to Ring of Honor each week to try and get the belt back, but they always lose to Joe. Eventually, someone can beat him and be a returning hero to AEW TV. And then I've even put Kanosuke to the couch.
He did? Question mark.
Two, the second reason this is a good idea, the next week on Dynamite, we see footage of the masked assailant of Wardlow coming back from ringside. Backstage, we see them remove the mask and jinkies, it's MJF.
Oh.
Yes, even on the night of probably the biggest match of his life, this 1 hour Iron Man match against Bryan Danielson, he's still taken the time to screw Wardlow. Why? Because he never got revenge on Wardlow for humiliating him in that one match that time when it was he just absolutely squashed him. But also, outside of kayfabe, I think Wardlow really is in need of a boost as well. That boost could be a title shot against MJF because in storyline, how does it even make sense that this guy who destroyed MJF has never even been mentioned as a potential challenger now that MJF is actually the champion? Bizarre. Obviously, MJF will win that match, but hopefully he does it in like a cheap way and it elevates Wardlow still.
Oh, it's a 75% yes from me. There's just the one bit I don't like, and that's the continuation of Ring of Honor and AEW things being muddled together. I want to complete.
Yeah.
Cut them off. The life source. That's the only part I don't like. The rest of it is lovely. Wardlow getting back up there because it is stupid how he didn't get anything after squashing MJF like he did. So yeah, that rights that wrong.
It does. The one thing that I could possibly... Oh, my stomach's rumbling. The one thing I could possibly see benefiting from the TNT Championship being on Ring of Honor is that obviously the AEW stars maybe giving Ring of Honor a little bit of something, like more eyes maybe on the product, perhaps. So I can see that being a thing as well.
I honestly didn't think of that one. But thank you.
Well, no, that's okay. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, that could work if Samoa Joe did retain the championship. But you're right. I'd love to see something between Wardlow and MJF. I feel like even though there was the squash match, there's still a lot there. You got a lot of storyline there as well with, like, obviously Wardlow being like, he ruined the biggest night of my life when I was to win the TNT Championship and everything like that. So I think there's still a lot of unresolved stuff to be had there. And I think a big money match between them two would do Wardlow the world of good.
He needs it.
He does.
And he's been screwed. Ross, your third and final pitch, please.
Jesus Christ.
What's happened?
What's up?
What's wrong?
I'm not confident with this one.
Oh.
MJF defeats Bryan Danielson in the best pure professional wrestling match we have ever seen with our own eyes. MJF doesn't do one bit of cheating. He just wrestles his arse off and wins this match by one more fall after scoring the winner right at the death, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back in 1999. After the match, Danielson and MJF had a bit of a moment inside the squared circle. Two blood brothers now in arms, brought together by their conflict, a tale as old as time. Danielson gets on the mic and is like, "Whoa, that was good, that. You're really good at wrestling, Maxwell. You might be even better than me. Tonight has proven that. Why the bloody hell do you have to be the way that you are when you can do that? The pair let the moment breathe as the crowd rise to their feet in appreciation for Maxwell in the face of what they've just seen for the previous hour. He starts to get emotional. I've never believed in myself, Dan. I hate my parents for raising me in a way where I didn't have to do anything. Now I'm out in the real world with no real world experience and I'm struggling. I feel the need to make up this bollocks about myself and my colleagues to overcompensate for that, or just to compensate for that. It's a sad, so sad. It's a sad. I've written down there.
Sorry seems to be the
I've
hardest
written down
word,
there. That's it. It's clear. But this night I actually say sorry for the things I've done. I'm sorry, Dan. I make up all this bollocks and wear this mask because I don't believe in myself. But beating you, Dragon, I don't need to be a dick anymore. I'm a good wrestler, and now I can be a good person too. Babyface turn has been initiated. Not fully accomplished, but initiated.
Ooh.
Another pregnant pause is allowed for a positive audience reception to what MJF has just said there. We're seeing growth, we're seeing change. Look in my eyes! What do you see? It's bloody CM Punk.
I thought you were going to shout low blow. That's why I went, he's low blowed him.
Look in my eyes.
Oh my word, it's even more. It's even
He's
bigger.
come back, hasn't he, the bastard? He comes down to the ring and he kicks Maxwell in the groin. He's snot rocket in the crowd. He spits at Danielson. He is being the biggest poo house we have seen since Maxwell was at his absolute worst. Punk returns and we kind of pick up where we left off. MJF is being the babyface. He was kind of exposing CM Punk, who was the heel all along. We get Eddie Kingston involved in this. He's floundering at the moment. He gets involved. Maybe he can be the challenger too. Well, just gets involved with Punk and MJF after Punk and MJF have their little feud or big feud going on now. I think we exploit what's gone on recently, and I think we just bring back Punk to be an absolute arse like he clearly might be in real life.
It's such a yes from me. It's yeah.
We might as well.
He's always been, even though he's most famous for periods of his career when he's been a babyface, he's a more natural heel.
Yeah. I do think we've had a little organic babyface turn for MJF recently. A tiny one. Not a full one.
It's because he
Just a
keeps
teeny tiny one.
He keeps
When he talks about how
peeling
he
back
needs
the
to-
curtains.
When he's like, I do this because I'm insecure. And
Yeah. And I really enjoy that. Well, I enjoy the misery of another human being. No, I really enjoy to see stuff like that and how it plays into into his character and into his wrestling stuff and his stories. And like it never felt natural to me when CM Punk came back and he was just a big baby face that came back into the ring being like, I bloody love this down.
Oh, it felt natural to me.
It's so
He's
good. I
such a
love
hero.
it.
And
I
it did
was
get a bit old, didn't it? Very
No,
It did.
never.
and I was like, oh, come on, do something. I was like, you're on the cusp of doing something,
When
right?
people kept mentioning like Hangman and Kingston, when people kept saying, you're actually, no one knows this, you're not a nice guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually leading somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was just blokes actually going, no, you're actually not a nice guy.
Who else? It was Hangman said it as well. I'm sure there was one more.
Hangman, Kingston, there was definitely one more. As well.
Let's capitalize.
Let's capitalize. I think there was something else recently as well about I can't remember which wrestler it was, but someone tweeted out something about CM Punk being like maybe abusive and stuff backstage, and someone from AEW liked the thing as well.
It was that someone said this. Why are we all laughing about Brawl Out? It was an assault, and Jungle Boy liked
That
it.
was it. That was it.
Jungle Jack.
Jungle Jack Perret.
Jungle Jack needs to shut his damn mouth.
Whoa!
Those are the thoughts of Jack
No,
the
it's
Jobber
not
alone,
my thought.
and not Cultaholic
It was
Ventures
just a
Limited.
little joke. It was the thoughts of the character Jack the Jobber, not myself.
So for me personally, if AEW were to bring back CM Punk, it would have to be in some capacity like this that you just pitched right there. So it's a yes from me.
It's a yes from me as well. You said the first one was your strongest pitch. I think that one's just
Yeah.
I'll
that was very
take it.
good.
I just thought the Punk thing would have been a bit too much.
No, never.
I
No,
don't
no.
think so. There's a lot of speculation around stuff right now, isn't there, as well, with him
There is.
playing to people in this, that, and the other. So I think it makes sense. It makes sense.
Andrew.
Yes. Once again, everybody, we're going back to Dynamite. We're building things.
big Dynamite.
Okay, it's a big Dynamite. It's a big Dynamite. With Trent and Chuck getting taken out by the Firm last week, it's revealed that they're unable to compete in the match tonight.
No.
Oh no! We later see the Guns chatting with Stokely Hathaway, Ethan Page, and Lee Moriarty. With Hathaway saying he's managed to pull a few strings, all right? We're going to have Page and Moriarty entering in the place of the best friends to make sure the tag titles stay firmly within the grasp of the Firm. come to the conclusion of Revolution. So the match time arrives, and so do the Guns as well. Perhaps they're on commentary to talk about their defense of Revolution, when actually in reality, they're really out there to intervene in the match and help their fellow firm members pick up the victory. And they succeed in doing so, eliminating fan favorite teams to really ramp up the heat on the Guns heading into the pay-per-view. That is until the final team, the Jokers of the match, are revealed. And it's FTR, everybody. FTR make their return. Last seen in an AEW ring towards the end of December. And I believe that was against the Guns as well. I think the Guns beat them, and then we haven't seen them since.
That feels right, because then they had the stuff with Ring of Honor and the Briscoes, didn't they?
Yeah. Much to the surprise of Paige, Moriarty, and the Guns, though, FTR, they seem a little bit trepidatious. There's a few moments in the match where FTR are almost eliminated, perhaps with the current losing streak looming over them. But just as it seems like the tide has turned against them, they pull it back and they eke out a victory to cement the place in the match at Revolution. So now we've got the Guns, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, FTR and the Acclaim. They're all facing off for the championship. During the match, we can have team-ups like FTR and Acclaim banding together to go to take on the Guns and Jarrett and Lethal. And yeah, the face team's taking out the heel and then showing there, so you get FTR and Acclaim then going at it and everything like that. Basically, it just feels like there's a lot of unresolved moments between FTR and a lot of the participants in the match. Obviously, mainly the Gun Club, who stole a win from the boys at the Holiday Bash episode of Dynamite. And perhaps if their contracts are expiring as well, and they do plan to do other things, like FTR have said that they might go on and do like the indie stuff for a little bit. I'd love to see maybe the FTR pick up the belts in this match one more time. They have a great run to regain their legacy, because I think that was what the Guns were all about. Like, we're going to take your legacy away from you and this, that, and the other. So they have a great run to regain their legacy, and then sort of to cap everything off at the end, we get a final exit match between FTR and the Acclaimed, and then the Acclaimed can go over again. And yeah.
Ooh. FTR wouldn't come out with this with all the gold.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
I think
what a weird thing to say right at the end there.
I think one final really good run for them before the contracts expire, and then they're like, okay, well, it's time to pass it on.
Oh, so this is with the view of them leaving us.
Yeah.
Well, then it's a yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
You nearly.
I swear.
And then back. And then back. And yeah, it was fun. That's a good one. And it's made me realise that I miss FTR.
I was thinking that too. I thought it was pretty basic.
How can you have FTR and then lose them? Slip through your fingers, Tony. What are you doing, Tony?
Tony.
Tone. That's a good pitch, that, Andrew.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
My final pitch, I think Andrew will like it.
I'm excited.
Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks all seems set up, as we know, for someone to either debut or somehow screw Ricky. Especially because people have noticed recently that the stipulation has changed from everyone banned from ringside to, I believe, just the members of JAS are banned from ringside. Now, what I think is going to happen, and I said this to Fraser, and he went, oh no, because he thought, he agreed with me. That I think that Action Andretti will screw Starks and join the JAS.
Oh.
That's exactly what Fraser did as well. It is going to happen, isn't it? It's going to be that. Do you think?
It's just going to be like Garcia.
Yeah.
Mark 2, isn't it? Like, he's an entertainer, but he's a bit boring.
It might not, but just from our reaction there, if it does, I don't think people will be I think it's too predictable.
Yeah.
But instead, what I want to happen is something nobody can predict, something totally out of left field. So here we go. They've gone back and forth, having a competitive match with false finishes. Stark surviving Jericho's heel tactics and his various finishes. He survives the walls. He kicks out of the code breaker. He even gets a foot on the ropes after a Judas effect. Ooh. Jericho gets the baseball bat, and the ref's distracted. Like, put that down. Action Andretti gets in the ring from behind. The crowd are like, oh no. But instead of portraying Starks, he pulls out a pocket watch and says, "Action, freeze!" and hits the pocket. He loves it already. Time stops.
What's this in reference to?
It's like Bernard's watch.
Is that what he used to say?
No, I've just totally made that up.
I like
no,
that.
this is an original creation.
That's a fantastic tagline.
The little creep being like in the corner going.
No, but because I wanted to make it slightly more cartoonish, he's got a catchphrase when he does
Action
it,
freeze.
and he doesn't just click it. He goes, "Action, freeze!"
Like Ben 10, where he does the watch.
I'm slightly too old for Ben 10.
Well, I am.
And so are you, Andrew.
We've all got younger relatives. We might have watched it.
Yeah.
Andretti sits down in the ring and mulls it all over. Now, Fraser asked when I read this out to him, he said, does the crowd freeze as well?
That's what
does
I'm
it freeze
thinking.
the world, or does it just freeze the
Maybe
ring?
it's just wrestlers, isn't it? A spell he's got over wrestlers.
Maybe. Andretti sits down in the ring and mulls all this over. Jericho did offer him a lot of money and a spot in the JAS to take out Starks, but that's just not right. Still, it's a tempting offer, though. Under Jericho's guidance, he could be set up for life. I've put brackets, he's saying this all into a mic while musing to himself.
Oh, I was going to say, can it not be like, we see him sat in the ring and he's like doing
Plays
this.
over there.
And then there's like a voiceover just playing
fair.
over the top.
Thank you for that. That's improved it. Finally, he makes a decision. He goes over to a frozen Jericho, takes the bat from his hands, and absolutely smacks Chris with it. Now, this will admittedly be a test of Jericho's toughness because he's still frozen, so he can't sell it yet. So you just got to take the bat. He lays Jericho down, puts Starks on top, and gets out of the ring. He gets to the top of the ramp, gets the pocket watch back out, and goes, "Action, unfreeze!" And everything starts again. Jericho gets mysteriously KO'd. Starks is already on top of him, and the ref's confused and counts 3, and everyone doesn't know what's going on. Action turns to the camera, winks, and heads off into the sunset. This could lead to... I've even put as an addendum. Yeah, of course it could. This could lead to a wacky run of Rampage episodes, because no one cares about Rampage anyway, where Andretti 1 week freezes time and then loses the watch, and he has to find it while everything's frozen. This could take anywhere from 1 week to 6 months. Imagine the hijinks. It could turn out that someone like Danhausen's stolen the watch or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it writes itself.
It writes itself, right?
It does write
Action,
itself.
freeze!
There's one minor change I would
unfreeze.
make.
Okay.
When Action smacks Jericho, a frozen Jericho with the bat, just have Jericho explode into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
So he's never seen from again.
Like George Miz.
Yes.
Not into
Yeah.
chips.
Nah, just... But it is a very, very good pitch.
It is a very, very
It's
good
straight
pitch.
from the NXT playbook.
Yeah.
And it gives Action Andretti... Because I realised this week his theme at the start does go, lights, camera, action!
Oh my God, does it?
Oh,
yes.
that's
So
good.
It does write itself.
Freeze. Oh, I'm worried. But apart from this pitch, I am genuinely worried that he is going to turn on Ricky Starks now.
It's probably going to happen.
I think so.
And then Jericho will do his whole, we fooled you all along.
He has a pair of leather trousers, buddy.
Yeah.
He's a sports entertainer.
It's Sammy and Ty. They'll get it on anywhere. I love that pro. Thanks for that.
Yes.
At the start, when Ross went, "This is AEW, all the pitches have to be serious all the time," I was a bit worried. but it seems to have turned out okay.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Well, thanks
It was more than okay.
Thanks for joining me in this pitches journey, and thanks to everyone for watching the pitches as well. Leave your thoughts and opinions on all of these pitches in the comment section down below. We've got a busy weekend of pay-per-view action.
It'll all be Sunday night. Remember, it's not a Saturday one, it's a Sunday. Live reactions, I assume, are happening, are they, Andy?
Yeah, between me and Adam. So we'll be live reacting over at youtube.com/cultaholic/live. And then we've got the predictions tomorrow going on as well.
I've got What Happened At coming out in the immediate aftermath, or as soon as we can after the event itself.
And WTF on Monday evening.
Monday
evening. It's a Sunday show, remember, not a Saturday one.
And
I forgot in like 2 seconds.
and we'll all be very tired next week because I can just imagine it gets to like 4 a.m. and there's still an hour-long Iron Man match to go. Thank you very much for watching this video. Leave your own pictures. I've said all that already. Thank you very much, and we'll see you jolly soon.
Toodle pip.